Hello.
Hello. How's it going?
Hey, pretty good. How about you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I think you're is it Alberto?
Yeah, Alberto.
It's a pleasure, man. Here, I'll link your portfolio in chat here. Would you like to introduce yourself and talk just a little bit about like how you got into what you're doing and like where you were like what you're doing now?
Sure. So my name's Alberto. I'm from Chicago. I've essentially been like into video games my entire life. I started playing Super Mario World on the SNES. And I, continued throughout high school, playing video games. I was super obsessed with Call of Duty. I've actually been playing since I was 11.
Oh,
And
dang.
that's kind of, yeah, Call of Duty has been like my main inspiration to, create games. And when I started focusing more on like the level design of the maps and, different things like spawn points and, like game mechanics, that's kind of where I got more interested to be able to, start deep diving more into creating my own games. And then in high school, I was lucky enough to actually attend a 3-year game design program
What?
from yeah, I
In
know
high
it's
school?
pretty insane. Yeah, in high school, it was like an elective type thing where you would start your sophomore year and then you would take game design classes until senior year. And that's kind of where I learned Unity. And then in college, that's kind of where I started picking up Unreal more, and that's
Right.
kind of where I am now. I graduated college and I've been focusing more on creating environments in Unreal.
Dude, that's crazy. You've been busy.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
wait, so you've been doing 3D for how long then?
Well, I studied game design for 7 years in total. So 4 years in college, 3 years in high school.
Dude,
And then, yeah, and in college is actually where I started focusing a little more on game art.
right.
That's kind of where I, found like a greater passion for, making environments and things like that.
Right. Dude, crazy. So I like how you've titled these. So this is it's very rare that I look at a portfolio in this format. Usually I look at them through Artstation, but this is working pretty well. And I think it's kind of a weird topic, but I think it's important to also kind of be okay when people present, because usually I tell people, oh, just use ArtStation because everyone's comfortable with it. But if
Right.
the content is presented in a way where it's quick to get into it, then it's not really an issue. And for
Okay.
me, it's like I see these four and I'm like, okay, I'm assuming the newest stuff is top left and the oldest stuff is bottom right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Did you want to like just go through these and
Yeah, we could go through them. So the first one would be, well, the earliest project that I have on there.
is it the
Earliest,
night one?
latest. I don't know. Yeah, Night of the Silver Eye. That's a game that I created with my capstone project at DePaul.
Dude. Oh yeah. So you made like an actual like what's the extent of this game?
So it was two levels. It was essentially, the project was just to be able to create, whatever game we could. Essentially showcasing the skills that we gained throughout the 4 years in college. So what we chose to do was kind of like a sort of like an action adventure. I wouldn't say RPG, but it's kind of like a slasher, I guess. So
Right.
you're essentially kind of like running around the map, trying to kill werewolves that have taken over this town.
Nice, dude. That run. That's terrifying. If I saw someone running in the forest like that with the blade up like that, dude, that's hardcore. Dude, this is so to me, this stuff is amazing because I don't make any interactive experiences outside of like what I do professionally.
Hmm.
At home, it's just art. So I always find it really cool when like you have people that do like an actual playable experience and it's downloadable as well, dude. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So you were technical artist, level designer, what capture artist, as in like the like capturing the movements for the animations.
No, so that was more of so like anything that you see on screen, I captured it using different camera angles and sequencers and things like that.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, crazy. Yeah, when I see capture artist, my brain immediately is like, is he talking about mocap, or is this like, was he using a cell phone? I don't know. Um, no, but this is really cool because it really, you're breaking down all of the tools that you're using. You're giving a summary. Oh, nice. And as well as like your breakdown of how the role actually played out, I guess,
Mhm.
through this project specifically.
Yeah. The only thing I have, like the only main issue I have with this one is
Mm.
so like I throw around the term technical artist, but this is
Hmm.
essentially where I was first learning what that role even meant.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
might not fit perfectly like to what I was actually doing, but
I mean,
uh
if you feel that way about it, it might be worth like putting it as like a little note right at the beginning.
mhm,
Be like, oh yeah, I was at this point in my understanding when I wrote all of this stuff, but yeah, just
mhm.
so that it doesn't get read as like, does this guy know what's going on?
Yeah.
um, dude, this is it's crazy because it's just there's actually quite a bit of stuff going on here. I mean, I think when you're going for an experience like a playable experience, and
Mhm.
you're a small enough team, it's like you have to let go of like trying to make all the AAA art, or you're just
Mhm.
never going to create the experience. Like the
Yeah.
resources have to go somewhere, and if the team is
Mhm.
small, the resources should probably go into the gameplay experience first, because
Yeah.
a game
That's
can look really cool but play like meh.
yeah. Yeah, that's also one of the bigger issues we had while creating this. If you see like all the set dressing that I was doing,
Mm.
that was essentially causing a lot of issues with performance, and
Oh,
I
really?
kind of have to cut back a little bit. Yeah. That's so. This is also when the team was so we all kind of had like the same level of experience in terms of like designing games. So this is like where the team was essentially learning about like LODs and instancing different objects during gameplay and things like that.
Right. Yeah. So there's just learning happening like all around.
Yeah.
Dude, crazy. Let me go to the so that a lot of that aspect was you being an environment artist. It looks like lighting and level design.
Mhm.
If we look at the Chicago alley, it looks like this one's purely environment and lighting.
Yeah, correct. So this was actually my first attempt at creating something that was, I guess you can call it photorealistic,
Mm-hmm.
or essentially this was like a realism, my first realism project. So I was like mainly focused on making the textures look correct and lighting it so that it looked essentially the exact same way it looked in my photograph.
Right. And then you've got the open on Artstation. This is let me just scroll through here really quick.
Oh, I think that ArtStation link might be broken.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's one of those things where it's like, okay, I guess if that's the case, then keeping if you're going to have your own website, then you want to make sure to keep those things
mhm.
either updated or connected or whatnot, or just embed it directly in this site.
Okay.
But does it? So wait, does the backdrop? Because it feels like at some point the backdrop just turns into like there's an edge. I don't know what.
So I was actually focusing on the first floor tile right there. I hadn't updated the floor tiles beyond that. I
Right.
essentially kind of got the first floor tile to where I wanted it to be, and then I began updating the ones behind that afterwards.
I see. I see. Okay. Dang, there's a lot of steps in here, man.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting seeing some text with it though. Usually you just get like the slideshow.
Uh, yeah, I kind of wanted to walk the viewer through my thinking process.
Yeah, dude, that's hardcore, man. Oh, and then it just loops back over. So
Hmm.
okay, so when I look at this scene, nice. Let me Go back to. So the things that, oh my God, come on. There's just like things popping up from the YouTube video. Um, the things that kind of pop out to me is mainly the staticness of the scene. Like the rain is a
Mhm.
really nice effect. Is the rain happening in post, or is
Yeah, that's post.
that's
I
post? Okay.
It's kind of something that I realized I should probably add after I created the scene.
Oh, right. Yeah, because I think if you were to um, push it further by adding that in the actual scene itself, which it
Hmm.
sounds like you figured out later, but adding it into the scene itself, you can get so much more interaction. Because
Hmm.
right now it kind of feels like the scene's just really static, right? Because it's just a render,
Right.
and then you put the rain on top of it. Like you want to feel the rain going down the car
Hmm.
paint, and like the environment in the background moving around, like whether it's wind or like the swinging of the cables or whatnot, just to get
Uh-huh.
some extra motion in there, like the grass and the trees having movement, dude. I'm not used to YouTube like popping up after it's like, oh yeah, it's done. I'm used to being on.
Yeah.
This is one of the other things. I'm used to being on Artstation, where it
Uh-huh.
just will loop the video, like if the video was
Right.
uploaded in Artstation.
Yeah, that's one of the issues that I had on this too. It's so I'm using Squarespace and you can
Mm,
only upload 1080p videos, which it would destroy the bit rate. Um so you can it was just like super blurry. That's kind of yeah, I'm thinking of moving like everything into ArtStation pretty soon.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, it would. I mean, I guess it would help with the YouTube video stuff helps. And I mean, maybe if you figured out a little bit of CSS, you could probably strip out a lot of the YouTube layered stuff on top to
Hmm.
just get it to loop the video and like never pop up an ending or whatnot. But yeah, the ArtStation stuff is just the convenience is there, right?
Right.
But yeah, was there anything in this scene that you were like that you really liked, and then what was something that you didn't like?
I really liked the way that the rain on the windows came out. Um,
Right
or
on
at
the
least the
glass,
back
yeah.
window. Yeah, on the back glass. I feel like I got it pretty close to what it looked like in real life. The thing I didn't like is, that it's static. I agree with you. I feel like it would look a lot better if I had some
Mm.
movement in there. Um, but at this point, I think I had spent like a little over a month on the project already, so I was kind of like,
Oh
maybe
yeah.
I'll go back to it at some point and then add all the movement later. But
Right. Yeah, I mean, whenever you put a project down or you kind of feel like, "Oh, I'm done with this."
hmm.
It's usually better to just move forward and just do the next thing. Because
Hmm.
anytime you go back, you could probably make it. You could always, take what you learned and make it better. But then you're just redoing a thing, right? When you
Yeah.
could be exploring more. But yeah, I guess the only other feedback I would give on this is being able to see the screenshot, the photo. I think that would
Hmm.
help a lot in like being able to understand and compare. Because right now, when I look at your website, everything's it takes up the whole frame.
Right.
And if it was brought in a little bit more, I think I can view it a little easier. And then if you had like a comparison between the two, like the reference and then the final render, I think that could go a long ways.
Hmm. Okay.
But yeah, and then we have the next one. So this is in October. So let me see. It's June 2021, July, and then October 2022 was the cave, the mystical cave.
Yeah.
And this one is like, do you want to walk me through what you were thinking with this one?
Sure. So I had recently found out about well, I didn't find out about Quixel Megascans. I had already heard about it, but I
Mm,
had never actually gone out of my way to, try to create an entire environment using only Megascans. So that's kind of the idea that I had behind this was I wanted to create an environment where, I would be able to try to build it as fast as possible using pre-made assets.
right. How did you find using those assets? Was there any complications with it, or was it pretty straightforward?
It was pretty straightforward. The only thing where I did kind of I had to figure out myself was essentially how to build the terrain with, multiple uh, ground assets. So I'm not sure if I did it correctly, right? But the way
Right.
that I essentially did it was I sculpted a terrain in Unreal using their terrain tools,
Right.
and then essentially what I did was I took a bunch of floor mega scans and I kind of laid them out in a grid, and then from there I kind of started either pivoting or rotating different tiles.
Right. Yeah, I think with Megascans, especially now that you can use nanite, I think
Hmm.
that's the main direction people will go when it comes to terrain.
Hmm.
I'm sure at some point in the near future their terrain's going to be like pretty crazy. But I think I'm noticing that I guess with this one, because most of the assets aren't yours, I'm still curious like how many pieces you used or how you constructed stuff.
Hmm.
And right, like let's see if we scroll through here. So we have the in-engine footage. Oh wow, dude, there's like so the stream can't hear the sound, but there's like the chimes and stuff going on. Maybe I can
Yeah,
maybe I can do this. I can turn it up here. There we go. Oh, it's really cool with the like the effects that you have going on in there.
thanks.
This shot's really interesting to me just because when you can't change angle that the sound is there but it's further back. That was really intriguing.
Hmm. Yeah, that's all the sound was also done in post. But I also kind of wanted to create that effect where, it actually sounds like you're like in the space while the camera's moving.
Right. Yeah, because in some areas it's going to be quieter than other areas.
Hmm.
No, it's pretty cool. It is definitely about like when you use a lot of megascans or just pre-built assets, getting them to read and balance each other out so that you can understand the composition of a scene is probably one of the
Yeah.
harder aspects of it, or the thing that you really have to focus on. Because like that
Hmm.
final shot that's here is kind of hard to understand like what's happening in the upper area here.
Okay.
Because I can understand the grass and I can see there's some rocks here, and then I guess we've got this like mystic water, if we're going to call it mystic water.
Yeah.
uh, and then as you go further forward, it's like, okay, is that a rock wall, or is there like a path that's in there? It's
Uh,
hard to decipher what it's trying to tell you when you look at it. That's the details that I'm getting
okay.
out of that. The This is interesting too. Final concept image. So you just mid journeyed the concept and then went for it.
Yeah. So this was essentially when, all this AI stuff was first
Yeah.
coming out. Um, Thinking back to it, it's kind of hard to figure out if I should even have this on my portfolio
Oh,
just
I wouldn't worry
because.
about it.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
don't worry
because I was
about
gonna
it.
say there's like so many people that, will just look down on you for even thinking about using this.
I mean, you use this to like spur your inspiration, right? You you
Yeah.
you generate this image and then you're like, sick. Okay, I'm gonna make that.
Hmm.
I think what people are getting upset about is like, you if you were to make that image and then you don't even do anything on your portfolio and then you try and sell this to someone.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think it's cool to be able to like, you should be able to use this stuff to like push your inspiration or to understand like if
Hmm.
if you have like a artist block to just try and like dislodge that and move forward to
Yeah.
come up with an idea that you can build on. But yeah, actually, I can go into a small tangent. So you know the Empire Command thing that I was talking about just a little bit ago on the stream.
I was actually working on something while you
Oh, how
were
dare you? Just
sorry, my
kidding.
bad, my bad.
Just kidding. No, so the .com for this, I was trying to figure out how to like shorten it or like how to build
Yeah.
it. Like what could the .com be? And
Uh-huh.
I just went with Chat GPT and just started going off about feudal Japan and the art community that we have, and just until it abbreviated it, which is hilarious because it's just the same thing that I had before, but it was abbreviated. But I went through
Uh-huh.
like, I don't know, 400 different names
Yeah.
and slowly narrowed it down in my own mind just by talking to a bot. Um, but yeah,
Nice.
so yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about that stuff.
Okay, cool.
So the abandoned school is the most recent piece you have. Oh my god, the
Correct.
peeling ceilings. You don't see very
Yes.
many people do that.
Yeah, I think it might be because for some reason it's like the knowledge to have to be able to do that is like super hidden in the internet for some reason. I had to do tons of research just to be able to find out how to be able to do that.
Oh, this
Um,
the ceiling peel.
yeah, the ceiling peel. So essentially, I had to run a physics simulation and a cloth simulation. So it would be like a sphere pulling through a plane, and the plane was flaked. So when the sphere would pull through the plane, it would essentially manipulate the different flakes to make it look like they were like hanging or falling.
Yeah, that's sick, man. That's a crazy way of pulling that off or
Yeah,
peeling that off, I should say.
yeah,
Ah, oh god, it's getting too late. No, it's a really nice effect though. It's
Thanks.
I actually am kind of surprised that you tried to simulate that. It's really cool. Oh, thanks, Curious, for pinning that. Yeah, because like the way they peel is
Yeah,
like it is from a point, right? It's where moisture starts, and then it
yeah.
just starts to peel from there. But yeah, no, it looks really cool. It's how are you even trying to blend it, or do you just let it end wherever it ends on the ceiling?
So it's not actually part of the ceiling. The
Right,
the peeled parts are
they're just floating there.
yeah, they're just floating there. They're essentially just cutting through the ceiling. But when I first applied it, it didn't even look like it was doing that. It looked like it was actually part of the ceiling. So I kind of just left it like that.
Nice. Yeah, I mean the effect is nice, and it's a really nice way of breaking up the ceiling, just because like ceilings tend to be an afterthought in a lot of environments. And
Hmm.
then you're like, how the hell do I make this ceiling interesting? Because it's just one big
Yeah,
flat surface, right?
yeah.
Is this character is this like where did this character come from? What's happening here?
So it's a custom character from
Oh
MetaHumans.
yeah, okay. I wanted to
Yeah,
guess that, but I wanted to see if it was because I
yeah.
have not played with metahumans at all. I just myself got into uh, Megascan assets just recently. Oh, it's an interesting glass material.
Yeah, I'm actually having trouble with glass right now in UE5. It's causing such a huge headache.
Yeah.
I have a new glass material that I just created. Um, all the props are at the bottom, by the way, if you did want to see them. But I created a new glass material, and essentially I was able to make it look correctly using Marmoset.
Hmm.
But for some reason, I'm not able to get that same effect in UE5. I think I'm just like setting it up incorrectly, but it's been a pretty big issue.
Dang. Yeah, glass is especially with now that they've introduced Lumen and all of their real time ray tracing, and I guess you would have to not use Lumen and probably use like their path tracing to get the glass to look really good. But that's not going to
Hmm.
be real time in that sense, right?
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of figuring out what's the best approach shader wise. I'm trying to remember. There's a YouTube channel that I follow as well, and the guy does really good breakdowns of shaders or like how to do something. And I think he
Hmm.
recently did a glass one.
Hmm.
Yeah, and transparency is a pain if you use nanite. I think nanite does not like transparency. So
Yeah, I don't think transparency works at all with Nanite from my own personal experience. It just turns into like the default grid texture.
oh, it's Ben Cloward is the guy that I'm thinking of.
Then what was it?
Cloward.
Okay.
Very good YouTube channel. I like the way he breaks down stuff. It's perfect because it's like very specific things that he goes over.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this scene looks cool. So some of the stuff I want to comment on is like, so figuring out what props are where and why. So
Hmm.
like you've got some like I guess desks that are like it would be good to have the hallway, right? And then a room that you go into that's like the classroom. And that's where all the desks are at. And then maybe there's a
Okay.
few desks right outside the classroom. And then
Uh,
you've got like just putting logic into like what's where and why.
yeah.
It's the same with like the graffiti. If the graffiti goes too high onto the wall or it's
Yeah.
too low but it's large, you start to wonder like you get this weird dissonance of like understanding of how that was even created if it was real.
Yeah.
So like, oh, did someone bring a ladder in here and like spray paint all the way up at the top, or like did this guy lay on the ground to spray paint onto the lower part of the wall just because there's
Yeah.
so much detail in the spray paint or in the tag itself? But it's just
Yeah. No,
just those smaller details.
that's a really good point that I I only thought about for the ceiling one, like if you looked at there's a ceiling there's like a ceiling graffiti where there's a desk underneath it, and that's kind of the only one where I thought logically about that one, but besides all the other ones, yeah, I didn't really think about that, and that's a pretty good point that you bring up.
Yeah, it's weird. Like schools are actually quite, especially in the U.S., they're quite boring. Like entire hallways are just lockers,
Yeah.
and you're like, man, this is lame.
Yeah.
You're like, how do I make this interesting? But then like you have like bookcases in the hallway as well. So it's just a matter of understanding like what type of space you're trying to build and like
Yeah.
building all the logic into it, the widths of hallways and like those types of details. And then what ends up being on the walls. So like if it was a school, right? You're gonna have
Uh-huh.
like either like advertising for something that's happening at the school or like the school dance that was going to happen or whatever, and then now this place is abandoned or there was some horrible murder. It's just like building all these stories around the logic of the space and where all of those
Mm.
things would be. It's something
Okay.
to always think about, definitely, because it'll help ground everything, and then people know where to look for certain things, and then they get
Uh-huh.
subconsciously rewarded when they look at the spot. They're like, oh, I'm going to go look at this area because I'm expecting to see this thing here. They won't even know they're
Mm.
doing that, but then if the thing is there, then they feel like they're connected to what they're looking at.
Mhm.
It's a weird, I don't know, subconscious
Yeah.
thing that's going on.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting thing, because that's kind of something that we talk about in like game design too, where you have to essentially reward the player for uh, you know kind of exploring, right? Like it's especially in level design. So I
Mm.
that's something I should definitely try to focus more on.
Yeah, there's other things too, like so this hallway with when you think level design. So right now the hallway's really open, right? If you narrow it by like a few meters, and then like you could use maybe one of the lockers was completely pulled from the wall, and you can use
Mhm.
that to get the player to go around a thing or have to find another way around, or like go into another room and then come out the other side of the cover, like the area that's blocking the whole hallway. And it
Mhm.
gives you a focal point, but it also gives you a logic as to why you have to like go into another room and not just go down the hallway.
Okay.
But yeah, no, this is cool stuff, man. And I guess with let me just scroll through here and look at some of this stuff. I think what I'm seeing right now is that there's like you have really interesting ideas, and the way you're executing on like the level design and the space itself is really cool. Where
Mhm.
where it's lacking a little bit, I think, is just in the material understanding.
Mhm.
And I think if you can push, like if I, where are we at here? If I go to like the bookshelves, for example, those are quite simple material wise, and figuring out like how to model those and texture those in a way where they look like they're constructed together.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is crazy. I'm just noticing the photos. They're just, oh, I know what this is now. This is supposed to be like a trophy thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
no, I'm getting it. Yeah.
I think a good thing to also point out is that because it's actually currently in progress, a lot of the props that I do have on there are updated at
Oh,
the bottom of the screen.
oh, what?
So yeah, so like the trophy case looks more like a trophy case now.
Oh, that's hilarious. It's like I'm riding the wave with you. Let's see here. Oh, dude, these are cool. Yeah, lockers are weird, man. They're weird, a weird thing. See how this feels very flat to me, so it's good that you're opening up a lot of the lockers.
uh,
I'm not sure why it feels so flat though. I guess it's just because we don't have any directional lighting. This is all in shadow.
yeah, that might be it. Yeah, if you have like any pointers on like the lighting too, I would really appreciate it.
Oh, dude, this shot with the sun coming through the windows.
Hmm.
That's really cool. And then like it's just framing the ceiling, peeling stuff going on all over the place. It just frames that all
Yeah,
really well.
thanks.
Yeah, it's I think all of the breakdowns that we're seeing in here, like Chris is saying it, you don't really see a lot of cool breakdowns anymore.
Mhm.
So it's
That's
really
that
nice
glass.
to see you like just separating everything out and kind of breaking it all down.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, see these like so is this as we're going down, is it becoming more detailed? Is this kind of like a live blog type of thing?
No, so all of these props that have the texture maps are the most recently updated ones.
Okay.
I just haven't added them to the renders yet, but they are in the environment. I'm actually currently, in the middle of rendering everything again.
Right. Oh yeah, dude, this totally feels like a trophy case now. This is much stronger. Maybe it's a little too detailed on the glass surface.
Uh,
Just giving you some areas of like where it can chill and your eyes don't go, "Oh my god, what am I like I have to read through all this stuff." It's just trying your brain's trying to process all the surfaces, you know.
yeah,
Nice. Dude, that is a dirty chair. Yeah, these are man, there's a lot of breakdowns going on in here. This is cool. So the thing is I guess it's a lot of scrolling, right?
hmm
So that's something to keep in mind.
hmm
Uh, dang, this one looks pretty nice. Like there's maybe a little too much normal information going on in like in the upper area here,
yeah,
but the
okay,
surface feels like I recognize that dust. I know what that dust feels like when I run my finger across it. You know,
nice.
it's like being able to connect like that is really important. I think that's why PBR has really like made games look as crazy as they are now
Yeah,
because like now they kind of respond in a more relatable way in the lighting. Dang, that is a modeled keyboard,
yeah,
dude. No, this is cool though. That's a ton in here. I would try and figure out ways to like consolidate it. Because you said it's not done yet. Is that
yeah. So, I mean, it's basically done. What I'm essentially doing right now is I actually just finished putting all the updated assets into the scene today, and then I'm gonna try having the renders done by tomorrow. That's if all the lighting comes out correctly, because I've been messing around with like the post processing a lot, and that's its own beast that I have to
right?
tackle.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like when it comes to post processing, my personal view on it, and maybe Chris can chime in as well on chat, but like my view on post processing is if the lighting can look pretty good without post processing on, the
Hmm.
post processing just helps you like tweak and balance things a little bit more.
Hmm.
Like I think if you were to rely on post processing to just really like sell the scene, it's only going to be post work of what, right? It's just post processing. So it's
Right.
just affecting what's already there.
Hmm.
I think when it comes to lighting, everything's in shadow but quite even. So finding ways to either bring light in,
Hmm.
maybe where the ceiling peel is happening, you could just literally cut a hole in the ceiling and just let light flood in there. I know that's a lot more work, so so you don't have to do that. And then the other things maybe like just trying to find ways to break up the evenness of the floor. So like right now, even though there's a lot of props in the way, they're
Yeah.
all like more micro detail. And if there was
Hmm.
something bigger that blocked the way, that might help with like trying to build framing because you don't really know what to focus on. But then again, maybe it's just because it's supposed to be an environment that you walk through. There's
Hmm.
not really a focal point right now. I think is the main thing.
Okay.
I think that's what I liked about that one shot. Where is it at here? The one with the light coming through the windows. That felt like the focal shot to me. Where the heck is it? Not that one. Not this one. New. Oh, it is just further down. Yeah, it's also the order of these images is so crazy to me because
You know, I
it'll
I
be
actually
text
just
and then
realized.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I actually just realized that I have two of the same picture on there. I'm not sure if you even
Dude,
realized
I did
that.
not catch that. No.
Yeah, yeah,
So
but
this shot is really strong,
uh,
and I think it's like if you could. I mean, you don't even have to visually explain it, but like getting the ceiling to become a little bit darker, uh,
okay,
just so that it doesn't. Is it? Would it be darker? Maybe as it gets darker as it's getting further away from the windows, but then placing a light on this plant, I think that
mhm,
would draw the focus to like the focus is this plant, and you have this like apocalyptic scenario just kind of around it, like an abandoned, lost type of space.
okay,
So it's just mainly it's not like do that, but it's more about like trying to find what you can do to draw attention to a specific place and just get us to
okay.
focus on something. Because then that becomes the topic, and then everything around it just helps sell the shot.
Hmm.
But yeah, dude, super cool. I think we're over on time. But did you have any questions about any of this, or just anything you wanted to ask me?
Um, I'm not sure. I mean, honestly, one of like the more question, one of the crazier questions I had for you. I'm not sure if you would even have time to, try to help me out. This is
Yeah,
kind of
okay.
like it was kind of like the art, the glass thing. I wanted to see if you would have any insight on, what might be the issue where, the glass is not showing up the same way. But you already kind of talked a little bit
Oh,
about
right.
that.
Dude, I'll be honest, I haven't had to play with glass in forever. Like, I don't think there's been much glass in my streams either. So
Mm,
you probably
okay.
are already further ahead of it than me.
Okay.
You probably could use, so you know our troubleshooting section or our tech discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you post in troubleshooting, you'll get a bunch of people talking about glass in that thread. Because
Okay.
you
Yeah.
basically you'll be like, hey, I'm trying to do glass, and this is like where I'm at with it. You show that screenshot and be like,
Uh,
they pointed me to Ben. I've got this video. Like, like, am I doing something wrong or what's happening here?
yeah.
I think that
Yeah. I
would be
think
the
I'll do that.
best. But yeah, was there anything else that you wanted to?
So yeah, in terms of the portfolio, would you say that so I'm kind of like finishing up the abandoned school environment right
Mhm.
now. Would you say that it would be better for me to, kind of go back and, maybe potentially fix the things that we just spoke about, or would it be better to just move on?
I mean, I think if like it depends how long have you been on that environment?
Um, so it says January 2023, but I started in December.
Yeah,
I've been kind of on and off with it. But yeah, I'm kind of at the point where, I'm starting to essentially feel like I should move on.
right. Okay. So so what I would do is I would ask for like feedback on the Discord and just figure out like what is not making it work from like multiple people's perspectives or like trying to figure out like, hey, I've got this focal point that I want to focus on, and just trying to
Yeah.
build a composition with the stuff that you have. And I think that'll come together quite quickly because I think you have a lot of stuff in there already. And it's more about
Mhm.
just polishing it up and just trying to build a composition that is interesting for like a render. It doesn't have to be an interactive experience because every time you run around in it, it's like, okay, now you have to solve this entire space where you could just worry about one camera angle or two camera angles.
Okay.
And then you can show
So,
your materials and how your assets are put together, the ones that you built.
uh-huh. Okay. I guess that does bring up another quick question if we still
Yeah.
have time. Um, so I essentially like just put in the walkthrough video to kind of show that, this would work in a game essentially. So like
Mm.
everything's essentially like optimized for like performance wise. Do you think it would be, good to keep that there and update like as I go? Or do you think I should just kind of do what I did with the mystical cave environment where I just have like different moving cinematic shots?
So I think so for me personally, I think the moving cinematic shots or just capturing the mood of a space has more value to the viewer, showing
Uh,
you as an environment artist and a storyteller versus like
okay.
being able to just walk around in it. So like the walking around in it aspect, I think would be more in the direction of like a level designer
Uh-huh.
or game design, and then that at that point, then I'm expecting to like solve puzzles or interact with things or find something or be chased by something.
Yeah.
But the experience that you're going for is really trying to capture the environment and the feeling of being there.
Okay. Yeah, I think okay, that's really good to know then. I've never really thought about it that way where,
Mm.
bringing in a walkthrough is essentially giving the viewer more to expect.
Yeah, I mean
Uh,
it can, or you're just like you're wondering why there's a walkthrough if there's no
yeah.
like inner like things to interact with in that sense.
Okay. Yeah,
But
no, that
yeah,
helps a lot.
yeah, I would poke in critiques though and just let people jump in on it and just see be specific as well. I think that's probably the biggest thing I can say for people doing or asking for critiques is ask for
Uh-huh.
something precise like what do you guys think about the composition or like how could my lighting what do you guys feel like my lighting could be better at like it's very specific targeted things and people will jump onto those things much easier.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, it becomes much easier to answer something like that versus just looking at any feedback's welcome. You're like I don't know what to well, I don't know what to focus on. um
Yeah.
but yeah, cool. Yeah, if you have more questions just poke me as well. Like I
All
tell
right.
everyone, just I'll be around. If I don't respond, it's just because something else is going on, but I'll be there.
Okay. Sounds good.
But dude, thank you for sharing your portfolio, man.
Yeah, no, thank you for using your time to critique it. I really appreciate it.
It's fun, man. I'm addicted to this stuff. But all right.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh no, go ahead.
yeah, oh, no, I was just gonna say I'm sure a lot of people also are open to doing it, because of your experience. I'm sure we all think this is, amazing info that, it's pretty hard to get sometimes, especially if you're not already in the industry.
Mm. Yeah, I think it's more about having the energy to do it.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see when I run out of energy. I don't know. I'll just keep going
Oh
until
man.
then.
Yeah, hopefully not, man.
But
I really appreciate it.
hey, it's no problem, dude. Okay, so message me if you need anything, and yeah, thanks again.
All right. All right. Thank you.
All right, talk to you later.